Hello, and welcome once again to Old Guy Plays 1969 with our continuation of XCOM 2. And in this episode, we're going to start off by meeting the team. So let's hop on over to the game and let's get to it. Okay, so we're going to hop on down to engineering here, and we're going to have a look at the dossiers of the main characters. So, Central Bradford. I don't know if anybody's ever read his bio before, but it's all listed here. He was born on November the 17th, 1979, Manhattan, Kansas, United States. Limited service record, U.S. Military Service Intelligence, 1999. He was first assigned to Operational Directive XCOM Project, February 14th, 2015. Primarily serving in an organizational role, providing tactical and strategic support to XCOM's commanding officer. Central Officer Bradford was chosen for his loyalty and his commitment to the task at hand. Unfortunately, a gross underestimation of the aliens' numbers and technological advancement left Bradford and XCOM with limited capability to fend off the invasion. Within a matter of weeks, XCOM's underground headquarters was infiltrated and destroyed, leaving the organization in shambles. Bradford, apparently left to fend for himself, surviving in the shadows, nurturing a growing affection for distilled spirits in the time since. But he did manage to secure connections with the Resistance, providing the foundation for renewed XCOM operations across the globe. C.O. Bradford's system dictation. I'm not sure who's compiling the personnel records these days, but judging by the language, I'm guessing Tigan. But let's get a few things straight here. There was no gross underestimation of the aliens. We knew exactly what was coming, and we pulled together the best men and women the world had to offer. It wasn't enough, though. They used our own people against us, and some kind of psionic control took down our security grid from the inside. I did everything I could. I know Shen got out, but I lost track of Alan. Not too worried about her, though. Either way, we've got the present to worry about. Now, not the past. Well, what's really cool about this particular mod is it shows his main weapon and all of his stats here. And his time on the Avenger, that's kind of cool. Alright, so let's meet some of our other characters here. This is a person that we rescued, Clay Six Wolf. Origin, United States. Birth date unknown, presumably early 2000s. The question, who are the Fatal Six, has plagued the U.S. government for years. Even before the initial invasion, initially believed to be a harmless crew of rebellious teens. Their first steps towards sparking a revolution were chalked up to minor inconveniences instead of major problems. Unfortunately, this led to them being able to recruit more members and even encourage sleeper cells. The small original group of 6 never informed any of their subordinates of their legal names, instead opting to go by numerical values. When their mostly peaceful rebellion escaped to cyber attacks and terrorist threats, the U.S. government began to get involved and track down the original 6. However, at every turn, there were files that mysteriously went missing, and leads that took them halfway across the country only to be red herrings. As the aliens began to invade, the original 6 devised a plan to unite the U.S. and help prevent the extraterrestrial threat from overcoming the limited resources of the country. Seeing the opportunity, the U.S. agreed to deal only with the 6 as bait, while the sectoids and Thin Men assaulted Dallas, Texas instead of saving the civilian population. They opted to deploy a bomb. The Fatal Six created a lot of noise on the other end of the city to draw the alien forces away from the covert operatives, who were supposed to be getting as many people as possible out, but instead ensuring the attack was kept solely in Dallas. With no warning, the bomb was detonated while the fatal sticks were still inside the city. 2 birds, 1 stone, at least that was what the US thought. An email was sent directly to the commander's personal address. Sign me up, marked 6. Was all it contained, along with coordinates. Within a few moments, the email detailed itself. A picture of the 6, the one remaining operative, flashed across the screen, along with his real name, Clay Wolf. Well, welcome, Clay. He's going to be, working there as, I believe, our engineer. And then we have Marcel Schmidt? I'm not sure how you pronounce that. It clearly looks like it possibly German. Anyway, she was my sister, my twin sister. Now I don't even know. 2 things could happen. She was kidnapped and kept to work for the invaders. 2, she decided it for herself, and it was better for humanity to work with the aliens and join Exult. It'll be interesting to see if we can find her. I really don't know which of those 2 things are scarier, but I will try to find her whatever the cost. I was a normal PC geek working at a company for mail services when the aliens attacked, but after her disappearance I joined XCOM as an engineer, and I wanted to be boots on the ground, but so here I am. I'm a rookie, proud to go into battle for my commander. Guess his name was a bit odd. But yeah, the missions change. They always do. Well, welcome very much there, Smutchen. It looks like you're going to be our scientist for this playthrough, so we're happy to have you. And Lily Shen. Days on the Avengers Hero. She is the daughter of the original engineer from XCOM Enemy Within. I'm not going to read her bio, but it is there for you if you want to go ahead and read it yourself. Feel free to pause the video long enough to read through that. And we'll move on to the next one here, which is Richard Teigen, which is our main scientist and researcher on the Avenger. And it'll be the same thing with him. The only bios that I'm going to go ahead and read will be the ones that were submissions from players from the player pool. These guys here, of course, are built into the game itself. All right.
Having the commander around seems to have given the Resistance a morale boost, not to mention our crew. I don't think I've ever seen Bradford this happy. Even though he and the commander both know and trust Cato from before the war, I'm withholding my judgment for now. As much as the Resistance needs our help, we need their support just as much.
Well, she wouldn't be too far from the truth, so let's have a look at our actual soldiers in our pool here and do their upgrades. So we have Nora, the drunk Mitchell. And, let's have a look at her bio. So it looks like her primary fighting style is the drunken fist.
What these recruits lack in experience, they make up for in grit.
A unique combat mantra, of which she is the only known practitioner. Despite her unkempt and washed-out appearance, Nora is extremely skilled combatant. She often uses her drunken state to her advantage in battle with misdirection, fearlessness, and general army astonishment working in her favor. The squad don't quite know what to make of her. Well, welcome the drunk. And this is our Reaper. We're glad to have you. Let's move on to Ilya Ripper. I cannot pronounce that at all. Olsik, I guess? I don't know. Like I said, I'm bad with names, and you're going to come to get a chuckle out of me every time I go to speak. Alright, so let's have a look at her bio. Believe it or not, Ilya never actually had much of a problem with Advent. They mostly stayed in their cities, and if you paid your taxes on time, they would leave you alone. Well, most of the time. That empathy ended when Advent destroyed Ilya's life. Born in a small farm outside of Kiev, Ilya's life was mostly disconnected from that of the outside world. Being the eldest of 7 children, Ilya's main concern growing up was caring for them. When her mother died giving birth, her father was there, but he was always more concerned with the status of his crops than the status of his children. As such, Ilya formed a strong bond with her siblings and spent most of her youth with them. When the invasion hit initially, her family rode out the storm by hiding from passing Advent patrols in a storm cellar. When the invasion ended in the surrender of Earth's nations, Ilya's family continued to work on their farm as though nothing happened. For a while, it did seem like nothing would happen. Sure, the occasional Advent officer would stroll through and demand tribute from the farm, but they never really asked for anything outrageous in terms. They would always take their tribute, often a bunch of grain or a farm animal, and leave. The farm continued, life itself continued. However, Ilya herself was not content to remain a farmer. She planned to eventually move to the city and pursue her work, as well as a life of one of Advent's metropolises. So I guess she was planning on leaving the farm and heading to the big city. As it would turn out, Advent would speed these plans up. One day, a pack of Advent troops Advent troops showed up to the farm. They claimed they were there to move the family to the city and take the farm as part of the unurbanization program. Ilya's father refused violently, and in the resulting firefight, he was killed. As the farm burned around them, the Advent troopers attempted to find the siblings. Ilya gathered her siblings as well as their things and made a break for the woods before Advent was able to find them. Over months, Advent hunted and abducted them one by one. The siblings were cornered and taken in by Advent. Ilya had to learn to fight and to live off the earth if she was to survive. Teaching herself how to hunt and scavenge, Ilya managed to live in the forest and survive for a while. Eventually, she found herself cornered by Advent, and all hope seemed lost, and the troopers closed in. Another shadowy figure ambushed her, knocked her unconscious, and carried her away. She later learned that the operative who picked her up worked for XCOM. He claimed that he witnessed the initial farm raid from afar and wanted to find the survivors. After taking her to a resistance haven and attempting to recruit I lost my place there. Attempting to recruit her into the resistance. Ilya agreed to join XCOM. She now utilizes the skills she learned to fight back against Advent. All the while, she hopes that her fight may one day lead to finding her lost siblings and towards reuniting her family for good. Well, there's Ilya. Well, welcome to the team. What class should we promote her to? She's got a 71 aim and 5 hack. Either one of these classes would be fine. I'll train her as a Marine. Ren, Malicious Beldu. What's your story there, Malicious? Country origin, Taiwan, born December 19th, 2000. Word circulating among the troops is that Ren was actually a convict being held in Taiwan until recently since his release. He's developed a grisly reputation for collecting trophies off enemy combatants. Well, that's kind of your standard XCOM bio. Oh, so he has a 70 aim, 12 mobility, and 5 hack, and I'm going to train him in our new field alchemist class. So yes, we're going to be using a flamethrower class for this playthrough. These guys are pretty interesting from what I've learned in the testing I've done, and can't wait to be able to show them off for you. Okay, and next we have Sarah Bumblebee Triplet. Now, I know ChristopherOdd in his original playthrough in 2022, I believe, had Bumblebee. And I can't remember if she lived through the campaign or not, but anyway, I believe she was trained in assault infantry. We're going to go the same way, even though she's got really terrible aim. This will probably improve by about 10, but 62. It's a little better, but she's probably going to do most of her damage with that sword there. Okay, and then Leah, tactical, upgrade her, make her Marine as well. Let's get these last couple of promotions out of the way. And then Beardo, 75. Oh yeah, we gotta go marksman all the way here. For sure. 84 aim now. Gotta like that. Alright, who do we leave off with as far as the bios go? Well, in case you don't remember, let's go back to Bumblebee and have a look at her bio. Date of birth, Brisbane, Australia. Date, 22nd April 2010. Look, I'll spare you the sob story of a poor orphan, Sarah Triplett. It's a bit of a downer. As she might try to hide her story, XCOM eventually finds out Sarah Triplett was an only child during the invasion, barely cognizant, I think that's what that is, of terrifying events across the globe. Cognizant, I think is what that's supposed to be. Of terrifying events across the globe. While her parents were occupied defending areas of the country, they were experiencing the brunt of the invasion. Sarah remained at home, distracted by movies, which she spent her days watching time and time again, and what looked like to be the end of civilization. They were her comfort. After humanity's surrender, Sarah could know her parents' fate. Advent forces raided her neighborhood looking to bring her in. Overcome by fear and confusion, she ran as far away as she could before collapsing from near exhaustion at a resistance haven. Although she was grateful for the security, she remained distant and grew older, moving between havens to avoid forming attachments and masking herself both literally and figuratively. But over the past 20 years, she had heard nothing from her parents, and all though she could do was bury her doubts that they didn't care to look for her. Learning from a more experienced resistance members, she came into her own as a talented soldier and scout, using combat as an outlet for her pent-up emotions. As long as she kept moving, kept fighting, she didn't need to worry about attachments. More importantly, losing those attachments. Her emotional barrier has its effects on her, the most unusual being that she communicates in fragmented movie and media lines when uncomfortable, reportedly telling her recruiters that in combat that she floats like a butterfly and stings like a bee. While that trait may be odd, her confidence is most certainly not. Out on the field, she's capable and a communicative soldier, as XCOM would hope to find. That being said, she may think of XCOM as just another challenge, another stop in her aimless journey. The betraying hope that she can find closure here lingers in her mind. All she can do is pray that she stings more than she gets stung. Well, welcome Bumblebee, and I hope you make it all the way through the campaign. This was one of my favorite characters that ChristopherOdd had in his playthrough. And like I said, I don't remember if she survived the ordeal or not.
Have never worked in close quarters like the Avenger. Before the war, we might have had time for training, but now they're going to have to pick things up on the fly.
Okay, Bradford. All right, so moving on. Who didn't we read? Tactical Jones. I think she has a standard bio as well. Oh no, yeah. People say Tactical lost and went rogue after learning that the aliens did not come here in peace. They lied to all Advent people. The prevailing rumor is that she spent most of her time since in the United States trying to help mankind from her people and break the hold the elders had over them. Well, welcome Tactical. This is one of the main characters from Rhymea's playthrough. So if you want to see her in action on his playthrough, you're more than welcome to pop over to his channel and have a look at that. And the last one here that was in our group of starting soldiers is Beardo. Let's have a look at Beardo's bio here. Another long one. Beardo's life was always on the move. With a dad in the military, he traveled all over the country, bouncing from state to state, from school to school, and as a result, he never really made many friends to stay in touch with. After graduating high school, he too joined the Navy as a third-generation airman, working as a mechanic initially, but trained in several areas and was honorably discharged as a well-rounded, if average soldier. After his contract ended, he took some time, decided to do what he wanted to do, spending most of his time taking care of his widowed grandmother on a secluded farm. He finally got accepted into college for animation and moved out. With his new opportunity in life, he had plans to 1. Become a star, writer and voice actor for animation, 2. Become his own streaming channel, and 3. Find some permanent friends and maybe a girlfriend. However, a week later, Advent began to their silent invasion. Boy, tongue twisters. When he didn't hear from his grandmother for a month, he visited the farm. Fire smoldered in the barn, and equipment was melted into a slag heap. None of the animals were found. It was there that Beardo found an abandoned and heavy wounded sectoid. The sectoid merged his mind with Beardo, and he saw flashes of memory of the farm burning, XCOM, and the aliens battling it out. Screaming with effort, Beardo freed himself from the control of the wounded alien and jumped into a fit of rage. This is a note from the recruiter. Subject Beardo became agitated, recounting the story, and had to be held down by several security personnel to prevent injuring the staff. It appears that he might have slightly been affected by this mind merge. Using what he discovered from the sectoid, Beardo then tracked down XCOM's HQ and spent several days observing security before infiltrating. The first person from XCOM to officially meet him was Bradford himself, and he entered his secure office and found Beardo in his chair, his feet up on the desk, and a cup of hot chocolate in his hands. Beardo's response, "I felt this was the best way to apply." While Advent was cracked down and all but destroyed humanity's creativity through censorship, Beardo fights to one day return to college and complete his dream of an animation star. And he has found a new home with his fellow soldiers in XCOM, finally ticking off the number 3 of his checklist. Well, except for the girlfriend. Beardo then clarifies to Bradford, do you think Shen is single? Well, Beardo, that's a pretty cool story, and I hope you hook up with Shen down there in engineering, but from what I understand it, she likes to bury herself in her work. Now, as far as these other soldiers, they're all rookies. As they get a promotion, or we use them, we'll go back and read their bios, because there's always that possibility that we'll lose them at some point. Most likely, what I'll do is I'll be running covert infiltrations with them, and get them leveled up first before we really put them in harm's way. Alright, so let's have a look at the bridge.
Commander, good to see you on your feet again. Welcome to the bridge, the nerve center of our operation. The aliens have our entire world in their grip. Advent controls everything. Government, communications, industry, not to mention the military. And it's on us to take it all back. Resources and time are tight, Commander. It'll be up to you to decide how to best use both. The ship is yours.
Well, looks like the first thing we have is supplies, so let's fly over there and get to scanning.
We may have chosen a different means of resistance, but our people fight for the same reason, for the world we once knew. Together we will end this occupation, or die trying. My people have thrown off the shackles of alien oppression, and through discipline, we have survived. We don't rely on the aliens' technology, and we would never live in their cities. We are the hunters. We move in the shadows, and we won't sleep until the last alien is dead at our feet.
Well, it looks like for covert infiltrations, we can start off with finding the Templars right away. And I'm certainly going to do that. So for any old soldier, what I usually like to do is just start at the bottom, work my way up. Does anybody down here that's a rookie got a pretty good hacking skill to start with? Oh, we got a 10 there. Let's do that. No guarantee he will become technical class, but we'll try this anyway. We'll start that covert infiltration. Skirmishers. Okay, we can't find them because we need a sergeant. Get 3 aim. Yeah, I think we'll uncover the black market because that's the reward. So I will send out my marksman I like to try to get these guys maxed out to 100 as quick as I can. And we'll send Chris on this as well. So,
Covert is our specialty.
send
Let's
those
just hope
guys
your
in.
people can keep up.
Not ready yet for a lab, so I don't think we need to do this one right away. And it requires a scientist. Another hacking one. And it's for Soldier Pawn. And this is for ability points. Now, this one I'll do. Can't go wrong with ability points for sure. Grab 2 more soldiers from the bottom. Off you go.
We'll get the job done. Don't worry, Commander.
Now, start scanning. New covert action. Rescue the scientists, which will pop in 2 days, 6 hours. Well, call me crazy. Who was the scientist we could get on that one? Dominic Cole. I usually let the 2 days. I like to let the 2 days run until we get down to like 3 hours.
We have made a number of new discoveries,
And
Commander.
get some of this stuff unlocked. Modular weapons. Inspiration on that data cache. I don't think we're going to need that right away. Epic materials, alien biotech. Now this is a new mod for this playthrough. I don't know if anybody else has used Idra's underbarrel weapons, but these things are awesome. Now the reason why I have this in here is because I find XCOM for the first couple of missions is really unpowered. Now I've kind of learned to play without this if I don't need it, but you know, like anything, it's nice to have options. But it does take 4 days to unlock it, and I'll probably pass that up for one of these because they only take 3 days. So let's
I
get
agree.
this
That is an important task, Commander.
done so that we can start doing the autopsies. Go back, get some more scanning done. Covert action expiring. Okay, so this is when I like to jump on these. See, 3 hours left. See, now when I send out a group, I'll be able to use the modular weapons if I wanted to. But where this is covert, we don't really need that. So, good mobility. She's got pretty good aim too. So let's try to get her powered up. Same with this one as well. Minor chance of a wound. Off
I'll
you
order
go.
my people to get
Start
underway immediately.
infiltrating.
So much of my own research based upon this simple design. If only I had known. Ah, Commander, excellent timing. There's been some progress. I've managed to break down several key components of the chip implanted into your skull. My analysis reveals that its primary function was that of a conduit, passing a vast amount of data directly to your cerebral cortex. With the primary connection severed, much of that data is lost. Several fragments do remain, however. Ghosts, if you will. Observe. Tactical combat simulations. War games. The sheer volume of encounters you were processing was astounding. It is truly remarkable that you survived as long as you did. Though this may seem disconcerting, there is still some good news. This chip bears a striking resemblance to a medical implant I briefly assisted in developing at the gene therapy clinic in New Providence. My understanding was that the implants were intended for high-ranking Advent officers only, captains or above. Retrieving a chip from such an officer would be the only way to know for certain. A greater understanding of these implants would undoubtedly benefit us all, Commander.
New objective added.
The Advent officers have clearly been modified to allow for their subordinates to receive new orders psionically. The implanted chip is the key.
Okay, so he's analyzed the commander's chip, which was taken out of the commander's head. So this is unlock the infirmary, and And this is the one I want to go after right away, is the proving ground, so that I can start researching ammunitions and grenades.
The Advent officers appear to be similar, if not physically the same as the common Advent trooper in terms of power and agility. However, field reports indicate a more developed mental acuity, as the officers do provide tactical directives to the subordinate Advent forces.
Now, a lot of those videos that play the cutscenes, I know it makes the videos longer, but it's up to people when they start to join my channel and they start watching. If I get comments from people saying, hey, you can skip those, I could certainly go ahead and start skipping them in the future.
I must admit, having successfully completed the operation necessary to remove the commander's implant, I am intrigued by the possibility of examining another subject for comparative analysis. Since the officer in question will likely have expired long before arrival here, I may rely on a faster, more invasive approach to removing the chip this time around.
And I don't think I put an engineer to work here. No, I didn't. So let's get Clay clearing that. So I lost a few days of clearing. I probably could have been working on this one. Yeah, I could have been working on that one. Oh well, let's not build anything right now. No use trying over spilt milk. Scan away.
I take it this was easier than your last procedure, Doctor.
Central, Commander. Yes, I find the process to be far less disconcerting when the subject has already expired. The results, however, it's best you see for yourself. My autopsy of the Advent captain has confirmed the existence of an implant, similar in design to the unit I extracted from the commander. But there are differences.
What kind of differences?
The data you see is being pulled directly from this Advent captain's implant. The sequence here is essentially you, Commander. Or at least the tactical information they were processing through your mind. As you can see, the data is nearly identical.
They were using you against us.
Yes, however, the Advent data shows signs of decay. Removing the commander from their network has likely caused significant damage.
Network?
Yes, what we're seeing here is a psionic network. These implants are capable of receiving and transmitting information, a great deal of information, somehow encoded in a stream of psionic energy. My working theory? Advent uses this network to augment the tactical readiness of its troops, as well as disseminate orders from its central command. Observe. Even in the subject's diminished condition, the implant continues to have an effect. A truly astonishing achievement.
Or a weakness?
Potentially. But I need direct access to their network to know for sure.
I'm guessing that won't be easy.
We'd need an active link. And that would mean hacking a live Advent officer.
Like I said, not easy. Still, it's the best lead we've got. Your call, Commander.
Well,
New objective added.
We're ready to move when you are, Commander. I've updated our objectives based on the latest information.
The Advent captain seems to provide a means of stabilizing the link between the local subordinates and the Advent network tower itself.
Commander, if we're going to try to build this skulljack that Tigan came up with, we're going to need a specialized facility to test it out.
and that would be the proving ground. Modular shotguns. I don't think I'll bother with that because it's 5 days, 3 days. That would give the partial magnetic weapons. Do the underbarrel weapons next. Scan some more, trying to get the first mission.
Strategic resource located.
Well, 62 supplies is better than no supply. Ooh, and a
Avenger
scientist.
plotting
Let's go
new
right
course.
to that. So we potentially now, to start off, could get 2 scientists right away, because we have the
There
covert
were some
infiltration.
casualties during that last
one.
covert action, Commander. But our troops will all recover after some well-earned rest.
Nice. 2 promotions there. Charlotte Archangel and Sean Maverick Pack. Alright, let's go meet these soldiers. Text filter. Oh, cool. Okay, there's soldiers. There's Charlotte Archangel. Saint Michael. Saint Michael, maybe. Anyway, her details. Tell me, Commander, do you believe in God? Advent doesn't. I aim to send them to his judgment. Charlotte has never known a life without the shadow of Advent hanging over her. Born the daughter of a pastor in Quebec, her father taught her sculpture as well as a means to guide and reassure her in a world truly that she could not comprehend. Charlotte had always been more practical. She used her spare time to practice what she had called essential life skills: English, French, medicine, survival, scavenging, and against the wishes of her father, hunting. Her early years dragged on in monotony until one day, fateful Sunday, everything changed. Charlotte and a few others from the camp called home were out scavenging for supplies in a nearby town long abandoned. One of the others stopped what he was doing, and when she asked what was wrong, the boy pointed shaky hands at smoke rising from where they had made a home. She tried to run home, hunting rifle in hand, until one of the older scavengers stopped her. She pleaded, looking at the man who now held her with tears in her eyes. Let her go. His response was plain, and it hurt her. You don't want to repay evil with evil, little Archangel. It's not what your father would want. Hours passed, and those hours turned into days. Finally, after a week of watching smoke rise and eventually fade, the group returned to the camp. Charlotte rushed to the makeshift chapel her father had built, only to find it in ruins, and all that remained was her father's Bible, untouched by the destruction around it. She opened it to a passage and would make her mantra, and eventually ticket into XCOM, armed with nothing but the passage and her rifle. The Archangel, Saint Michael, sought her vengeance. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in heavenly places. Ephesians 6:12. Well, welcome, Archangel. I'm pretty sure Commander Odd had you in his playthrough as well. I don't know how well you'll fare, but I really, really hope that you survive. Okay, and I think the other one was Sean. Let's have a look at what Sean's story is here. I'm an electrician and travel a lot to unfamiliar places. Not so long ago, I took a wrong turn somewhere and ended up in some secret resistance meeting spot, but I didn't know that at the time. When I stepped out of the house, there was a half a dozen people look at me. "What are you doing here?" one of them asked. "Preparing to fix problems, I suppose," I replied. Suddenly, a distrust evaporated with a delightful voice of the person and said, "Good." He shoved a gun and a headset in my hand. At that point, I realized we had some serious miscommunication, but I was curious to see how this situation would develop. I joined the others standing around a messy table full of papers and maps and sketches and quietly listened. From what I've heard, I felt there wouldn't be able to go back to my everyday life safe, so I decided I would stay. I wasn't sure if it was true that what they were saying, but they trusted me, and it was enough for me to trust them. What are you good at? One of them asked. Well, I can fix your coffee machine, I replied, which turned out to be a very valuable skill. Now I'm with XCOM, eager to witness how we fix the world with bullets and grenades, knives and ropes, and coffee. Well, Maverick, it's good to have you on the team. Alrighty, let's get back to scanning. Alien debris cleared. We got 2 cleared. I got a spot to get cooking on this already.
Proving grounds facility
Get the proving grounds going.
initiated.
I'm not going to shove an engineer in there because I got to get this top row cleared off first. So let's get that started. I think this top one here too. 115, so we need 190 something to get both. I'm gonna wait because I don't have enough supplies. Scan. And now we'll have a new Templar. Cool.
My people understand the value of our cooperation, Commander. The Elders see us as nothing more than raw materials for their design. We will take back our power and turn it against them. I greet you as an ally facing a shared enemy. My followers seek balance with the psionic forces that flow through the Earth and all its inhabitants. We channel this energy, aided by technology of our own design, to pursue justice for those who have fallen victim to the Elders and their servants.
2 more soldiers here to have a look at. So we got Boda, Big Talker, Bodman. I know I'm jumping around to different places. Let's get him his promotion first here. 69, Hack 13. Oh well. We didn't end up getting the specialist option. Sorry about that. Hearing my phone go off in the background.
There's been plenty of gripes about my flying, but I don't see anybody else stepping up, other than the autopilot.
Give her her promotion. 64. 5. Well, I guess she's going to be trained as our tech specialist because we will need one. Because there's other covert missions there that's going to require a hacker. Sean Maverick Pack, we had a look at him. 66. Oh. I'll train him as a phalanx, I guess. Still don't like that. Liam Mueller. I think we're going to end up with another phalanx. Okay. Who's that other soldier that we had? Templar. Scrim. Tour. I think we're going to promote them with Volt. I like that ability right away. And he's got high combat intelligence too, so he'll gain extra ability points. Or she. Yeah, I'm not sure which. We'll have to go into the bios to have a look at those. Alright. Let's have a look at these bios here. This is Scrum. Pakistan, April 21st, 2009. There are concerns amongst the resistance regarding speculation. Okay, yeah, that's a standard XCOM background. broke out of a high prison facility in Kyrgyzstan. Skirm is on their list of possible detainees, but at this point, we're not in a position to turn away skilled fighters, regardless of where they've been. It's clear Advent had been testing on people. Well, welcome to the team. Alright. You have to bear with me here as I become accustomed with this. It's the first time for me actually using this mod. So let's have a read here. Big Talker. Let's see what his story is. An eccentric man, Boba provides further insight into the man known as the Speaker. As you likely guessed, he's not just some concerned citizen speaking up for what he thinks is right. The Speaker was chosen through a careful selection process involving a number of potential candidates. These weren't any sort of super soldier experiments. These people had the one thing Advent could never simply inject into them: charisma. Numerous actors, writers, and even salesmen were potential candidates for that position, and they needed someone who could sway the masses with words. Little did these candidates know that their prize would be a series of gene splicings to make sure the message felt was authentic. Boda was one of the top picks for the position until another candidate copied his performance down to stealing his iconic glasses. He was able to escape before Advent cleaned up all the failures, but with his acting career ruined thanks to being a wanted man, he decided to join up with XCOM and get revenge on the bastards that said his performance was subpar and deterred of his best. Well, welcome there, Big Talker. Hopefully we get your original glasses back from the Speaker in this playthrough. Okay, so I think that's everybody. COVERT ops are popping. Alright, so this is that new mod there for Xwynns. And on this one, we can recruit some Advent soldiers. So we're going to do this. 6 days. Get some dodge on a soldier. Let's give that to our 6 days. Give that to our Templar. Yeah, they should be back in time for the yeah, they should be back in time to do other missions. Hoping. I'll send both hero classes.
We will begin the covert action immediately, Commander.
Keep scanning.
I suppose since that worked, we might as well keep it up, Commander.
Do more promotions. Alison Grace Dermont. Mika Red Dawn. Mika Nami. I'm probably butchering all of these names. Have a look at these soldiers here. Grace. Motion. 70 aim, 5 hack, 11 mobility. Sure, she gets the option for tech specialist. I'm gonna go with Sapper on her though. Red Dawn. Mukami, if I'm pronouncing that right. Marine or Phalanx. Okay, we already got 2 Phalanxes already. I really need a combat engineer, but I'll train her as a Marine. Okay. I don't need to go into the other screen. I guess I could just read their statuses from here, I guess, right? Alison Grace. Gene therapy was supposed to be the salvation for so many who were sick or suffering from disabilities. It was supposed to be the final step towards utopia that Advent had promised mankind. Grace learned the hard way that the biggest smiles concealed the most evil intentions. Allison Grace McDermott had made helping those suffering from post-war conditions the land of her life's work. She would spend countless hours each day crawling through collapsed buildings, scavenging for materials, medicine, clothing, anything that could aid those people in need. She had been a firm believer in Advent and mankind's cooperation effort to rebuild the world. She believed that volunteering for the new gene therapy treatments would be a big part in helping to achieve the dream Advent preached. She ignored the nervous feelings that she had when stepping into the chamber for the first treatment, just as she did best to ignore the pain and nausea from the chemicals being injected into her veins. She could not, however, ignore the violent convulsions that her body went into as she went into panic and pounded on the chamber door for help. Something was wrong, and it felt from the start that she didn't want to acknowledge it, but she, I guess, did. The attempt by Advent security to restrain her, along with other patients who were starting to react poorly, showed that they were not there really to help her, but as they began hauling them all out for disposal, in a brief burst of adrenaline she broke free of the grip of an Advent and ran. She has no recollection of how she got away. She only knows that she found members of the fleeting resistance. It has been months since that night, and Grace's body has not responded well to gene therapy as it slowly continues to break down over time. She knows her time is short, and she knows others are being lied to and being put through these inhumane experiments. She knows she will spend whatever time she has left fighting them and stopping them. She knows she needs help. She needs XCOM. Well, welcome to the team. I hope you kill lots of aliens. Get you back? Oh, I see you're badly scarred from all of that. So welcome to the team there, Grace. And who was the last guy that got promoted in that? It was Red Dawn. Let's have a look at her story. She is the child of a renowned scientist, Dr. Yamato. Himika wishes to join XCOM to discover the truth of her father, although it's felt that Dr. Comer left the University of Tokyo to research the fog pods the invaders used to obliterate our cities. The only contact Himika had with her father since then came in a note by way of a stranger. My dear Himika, I wrote, I'm not able to return home. The bioagent emitted from those pods is too contagious, and I fear infecting you all. Remember the meaning of your name, blissful, blessed child, and it's my gift to you. Don't ever look for me.
Energy flows throughout our world. And by mastering its forces, the Templars are able to reach beyond what any human once thought possible. When the Elders are truly banished from the Earth, we will be the masters of the power they have left behind.
Your loving father, Yamato. In the years since his disappearance, there's been rumors that Dr. Mikami? I'm not sure how to pronounce names. I'm so bad. Is working for Advent, and this is the inventor of the gene thermoregulatory gland modification reported by Dr. Tygan after the autopsy of the purifiers. Others say he was contaminated and is now one of the lost. Others say, more cruel, say the use the pods as research to cover, to leave his family and to leave with a mistress. Himika's twin sister, Hanoka, dealt with family shame in her own way, and as rumors grew and looks of hushed words of friends turned sour, Hanoka left to join a rebel group known as Exalt. Emika believes this to be true, given Hanoka's transhumanist ideals. Well, we'll have to look for this Exalt agent if we encounter one of them. Oh, there's more. Torn between loyalty to her aging mother and the deep shame of her father's twin disappearances, she humbly asks the commander to please recruit and train her, then kindly send her to the abandoned cities of the lost to find her father, hopefully rescue him from Advent, or to see him laid to rest, if indeed he was overcome by bioagents and is running insane as a lost soul. The anguish of not knowing is too overpowering. Although Shogun warrior blood runs through her family veins, Himika is not sure if she would have the courage to kill her twin, Hanoka. if they met on the field of battle. That test of honor awaits. The rest is unknown. Well, Red Dawn. I think I could get used to calling you Red Dawn. Trying to pronounce your real name is difficult for me. But anyway, it's good for a laugh. Okay, back to scanning. New covert ops. Okay, this is the rescue scientist. We got 13 people in the barracks.
You should be aware. We're detecting loft activity in this area. Our forces will need to be especially vigilant.
Now, I'm not so sure I want to do this with the Lost in there, and I don't really have top-end soldiers here, I don't think, to go into this mission. Well, let's do it. Worst case scenario, we'll tuck tail between our legs. This is going to have some rookies in the squad, though. I can't help it. Okay, that's everybody. Well, I'm going to pause the video here. Okay, we are back, and I got everybody outfitted. This is a new mod I got added in. It's Molotov cocktails. So we only do like 1 to 2 little points to damage, but it's the burning effect that they have on the Lost that creates a little bit more damage on them, and it's a good way to deal with the Lost when you have another way of dealing with them. And we'll get to try out our new emulator class here, our field alchemist here with the flamethrower. Anyway, without further ado, let's send these guys
Covert is our specialty.
on their covert
Let's just hope
mission.
your people can keep up.
Another important step forward in our
Underbarrel
research.
weapons are now done. We'll launch your shotgun, flamethrower tanks, ammo, extra grenades, and data decryption. 3 days. Wouldn't mind getting the hybrid materials. That's 3 days, and this is inspired 3 days. Look at this.
You'd make that research a priority, Commander.
Probably
I'll
use
notify
that.
you as soon as the report is available.
And we have our first assault mission that popped. And this is for materials, and this is dealing with the Lost as well. We got 7 in our barracks, so we can do this.
Setting course for Sector 10, Eastern United States.
And let's pick our squad. Everybody up with the weapons. And let's load everybody up with Molotov cocktails because we got the Lost in here as well. Well, there you have it. And I think the only person in this squad that we didn't get to meet here was Trepa, so let's quickly go in here and have a look at her bio. Sarah Trepa, birthplace Buffalo, New York, age 42. Before the invasion, all Sarah ever wanted to do was be left alone. She fancied herself an introvert and spent quiet evenings with her husband watching TV and playing Dungeons & Dragons with her friends. She never sought or would have ever thought to aggregate towards the life of a soldier, but that all changed when Advent invaded. The fighting tore her city apart. Her husband was slain, leaving her to fend for herself as the strange chemicals and the alien bombs turned the residents of Buffalo into horrid walking zombie-like creatures. Sarah was able to hide away with a small band of refugees and quickly found herself respected among them. She had a compassion in her heart and took to a motherly role in the group. She revealed that she was transgender, and to her newfound family they accepted her fully. Taking up a marksman's rifle, they scavenged. Sarah would venture into the city ruins and salvage medical supplies and food. She also wasn't the only trans person in the refugee group, so she made it a point of scrounging caches of hormone pills for herself and others to make sure nobody had the transition, I guess, because Advent decided to be assholes. If anyone had a problem with this, they kept quiet and saw her accuracy with a rifle. Living in a city filled with weird alien zombies really isn't a sustainable lifestyle, although slowly the little refugee cell began to crumble under the weight of attrition. One by one, she lost her friends and decided it was time to put her skills to more direct use. With a rifle on her back, she set out my place there. To find more organized resistance and join in and wage war on the ones that destroyed everyone's lives. Well, welcome to the team there, Sarah Stampede Treppa. Okay. Well, when we come back, we're going to start this mission. So, thanks for joining us on the second part, and we'll see you all in the next one.